Hey everybody, Sarah here with you. Welcome to my YouTube channel. First, I'm sorry that this video is a little bit later than it should be because I have finals and it's really hard to make videos while you have exams. And now we are with this watercolor speed art thing, and what you're seeing in front of you at the moment is me. I guess you can say I colored a fairy or magical girl character, and then I covered her with masking tape, and now I'm cutting the extras that is not about or the extra areas that does not include the fairy and her wings, or the magical girl and her wings. And that's because I did not want my fairy to be covered with the colors that you're seeing right now. This process I am doing at the moment is called wet on wet, in which I put a layer of water first and then put the colors together. Now I did this process a couple of times to get the right shade, because in the beginning I used really such a light wash, and then I started to darken it a little bit by little bit. But this process, you have to wait until it completely dries to get the, I guess, the effect of the colors melting in together in a very beautiful way. And that's one of the things about watercolors with this kind of technique. Now I am using watercolor paper. I am using the Arch watercolor block. It's 300 grams and it's 100% cotton. So it is special watercolor paper, and that is why I actually had a very, I would say it gave me really beautiful results. It's made right for watercolors. So now I'm moving to the down half of the picture. The upper half, the fairy had red around her. It's not a halo or anything, it's just like some sort of fire or something. And down I wanted to keep the ground blue. Now up there is blue that is going in with the red, while down, as you can see, there is a blue ground with red stains, and the splatter effect that just happened a while ago, it's just me picking up the paint and just dripping it all over that first part of the painting. And now I'm removing the masking tape, as you can see, and the color does not go on the dress. And this was the reason why I did this masking tape thing, and I cut it really carefully with a sort of a cutter or something. It did take a while, and I did not record all of it on camera because I wanted to be really careful to not screw up the details. Now I'm moving on to color the fairy itself. Now the background was actually the easiest part, but it took a while until it dried, so it's practically we're playing the waiting game with the background until it completely dried. You do not want to use any sort of heat, like a hair dryer or anything, because it's going to screw up the painting and just gonna let the colors go into directions you don't want to. And this is an art block, by the way, so if you're not working with an art block, if you put the crazy amount of water I put, the paper will curl up, so duct tape it or mask tape it somehow so it just stays smooth as possible. Believe this or not, but actually after I finished this, it was a bit curled up, despite that it was being like an art block. Anyways, about the fairy, the wings part is actually the same technique that I used within the background. The difference is I put just a little amount of color in the beginning of the wing, and in the end I just kept on adding more of the ink or the paint. That is how it got darker, and just left it to dry, and then I started to work on the magical girl slash fairy character. And her dress was really nothing of a big deal. It was really just a simple dress, and I was actually picking random colors as it went, but I just wanted to stay as close as possible to the red and blue in which this image was made up from originally. The idea of fiery wings, I don't know where it came from. I just wanted to do some sort of a transparent wings, you can say. And I'm just I'm coloring, I guess, the dress. It's made out of red and blue and a dark pink, sorta. It's not exactly a pink as you're going to see in a moment, because it's kind of a mix between I guess a pinkish color and a brown color. It's supposed to be violet, but then it ended up being such a really dark violet because the light source is in front of her, which means that her back is supposed to be dark because her back is blocking the light source. So I kept that in mind. I tried to keep the endings or the edges of her dress and her sleeves as light as possible, because when the light source is in front of you, you just see a little bit of tiny lighter up area in the sides or in the edges of the dress. Of course, because there is some sort of wing, the dress and the ribbon on her hand and on her leg is sort of moving in I guess the wind direction, and also her sleeves, because her sleeves are, you know, those large sleeves at the end, so you have to put that in mind. And now what I'm actually doing was darkening the color, because I put a base color, and in this process I did not use a lot of water. I just put like the right amount of water to get that base color quickly to dry, and I just kept on repeating the process with the dress. For the hair, I actually used water and then put two colors together like I did with the wings. So just a little bit amount of water plus two colors. Thus it created this sort of gradient effect that her hair is a bit fire-ish, you can say. And now I'm moving on with the skin. It's a color that I kind of mixed from my palette, and just adding a little bit of details. Now, if you're wondering about the change of clothes in this video, it's because I took a really long time, a bunch of days to actually finish this, because I would draw a part and then leave it to dry and then go back to my studies and then just continue on the next day, because I'm studying Japanese and I'm in the midst of my Japanese finals at the moment. And you can see here I'm actually doing some I guess adding more details at this point with water pencil colors, because I wanted to darken some areas, like very small detailed parts, and it's really hard to do that with, I guess, a brush. So I just colored the areas and then I started to just add some water on the parts I colored, and that kind of created that sort of like in the middle very dark, because this is the most, I guess, shadow pointy part of the dress, and then the I guess the ends was really lighty or something, and then I just added some shadows under her feet, and that was the drawing, I guess. The idea, I don't know where it was born from. It was just an experiment. I was just playing with some techniques here and there. But yeah, and then in the end I'm just adding some, this is a white calligraphy pen. It's not a white gel pen because we don't have this sold here, so this is the alternative. Just at the end, and to just give it a little bit of that, she's standing in front of a glowing object. That's what I was talking about, the light source or so. And I think that you can see the final image and how it looks like. And yeah, the rest is just, I am just doing some quick re-inking of some areas to show in the details, you can say. And that is practically it, I guess. I hope that you have enjoyed this video, and I hope that my friends who have asked me to just explain how this drawing was done, I hope that you have found this useful for you. And I am going to do a review about the colors I have used in this video in a separate video, because it's such a beautiful set of 24 colors, really affordable, beautiful artist grade. So hopefully wait for that video come in next week or so. So yeah, that's it guys. Hope that you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in another one. Bye bye.